Good afternoon, Southside. I am stoked to announce our newest trainer here. We got Erin Gallus, and she comes to us with a ton of experience and super excited to share that with everybody. You just recently started here about a week ago.
Yeah.
Already seen you in here with some clients, so excited about that. Well, just want to introduce you. Give us some background. Where do you come from? What kind of certifications? Who do you work with? Stuff like that.
Cool. So I started off as a yoga teacher about over a decade ago, about 11 years ago. And then I started taking science anatomy classes and realized that a lot of what yoga teachers are teaching aren't quite the truth when it comes to physiology and anatomy.
And you're actually teaching over at UAA as well, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, I teach over at UAA in the kinesiology department, adjunct at APU, doing anatomy and physiology over there, and also exercise physiology and biomechanics and all that fun stuff. So yeah, just super passionate about anatomy and like kinesiology and biomechanics and how the body actually works. So I moved into a CrossFit space, started doing all that, and really fell in love with like strength and conditioning and weightlifting part of all that.
For sure.
Yeah. And I'm here. I'm super excited to be in this space now.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, who's your ideal client? I know everybody.
Yeah, everybody, yeah.
If you could pick maybe a couple different types of clients, who would that be?
I tend to work with women in their 40s and older. Is usually people who gravitate towards me, which is great. Super fun to work with that type of client that's just like the newbie gains so fast. People who haven't actually weightlifted before. It's just really great to watch the strength gains happen and like the confidence come from realizing, I can lift up 100 pounds. Like what? Right? It's just super great. And then I also have an autoimmune disease that I'm dealing with. So a couple of my clients have that as well. So dealing with sometimes workouts just don't happen the way you want to. Sometimes you have to scale back, and what counts as a workout can be different for other people when it comes to dealing with fatigue or chronic pain and all that stuff. And then working with nutrition in that space as well.
Sure, it's so big, and I think that people neglect that side of things and how big of a role that plays. So awesome. Well, we're going to get you up on the website. You're going to show people how you operate and take you through a couple of exercises and things like that. Is there anything that you would want members to know when they're looking at all the trainers? Anything that stands out that they should know about you?
I just think I'm a really well-rounded educator when it comes to health and wellness and movement. I like I said, I started a yoga background, so lots of mobility, lots of just mindfulness, stuff like that. I can all that realm as well. So not just weightlifting and fitness, but mental stuff as well, and breath work and all that. I'm really, really into.
That's awesome. And there's not too many people who have both backgrounds. The yoga and the movement and how the body functions, and knowledge from the from teaching and all that kind of stuff, as well as the strength programming and everything that comes with that. So it's pretty cool. Super stoked to have you with us.
Super stoked to be here.
Thanks for coming on in and signing up with us, and super excited to get people over to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Well, hey, before we let you get going, where can people find you?
My company is Out Wild Human Performance. So Instagram, Out Wild Human Performance, and then also a website, outwildhumanperformance.com. If I can say that 10 times.
And we'll make sure to get those links in there on the website for you so people can find you easily. And looking forward to having you on board.
Thanks. So today I was thinking we could go over some assessment pieces that I would do with regular clients, mainly on hip mobility, as it tends to be a lot of where people feel a lot of tightness and have hindered mobility because we live in chairs and drive in desks and all that stuff all the time, which is not a really natural human movement. So first off, what I would like to see is how everybody would get into a squat, not an active squat, but hey, I'm gonna poop in the woods squat. That is a natural human movement that we've kind of lost for in our lives. So a lot of people will come up on their heels. We don't have we have tight calves, or our knees will dive in because we have some tight hipness there. So being able to get into a deep squat is going to be super important for life and lifting. So assessing that is going to be really key to seeing what we can do with their mobility there. And then the next one would be internal and external hip rotation. So if we're sitting this 90 degrees, and then this would be external hip rotation, which seems to be most easier for a lot of people. And then we have internal hip rotation for this guy here. So a little cramp gonna happen in there for most people. Yep. and then we can do the hip switch. So assessing both of these, the internal, external hip rotation, and then a deep squat, that gives me a really good picture as to where we are in our mobility and our strength in our hips and our ankles, which is super helpful place to start to know what kind of exercises we can program for you to get strength in squats and movement.
All right, so one of my favorite movements is a split squat. A couple ways to do this. So like the advanced one is like a really long step, like in a lunge, but instead of just going straight down, you're gonna come kind of forward so your back leg stays nice and long. And you get all this ankle flexion, hip flexion, and all this knee movement, so a full range of motion, and you come right up. So using full range of motion on your split squats or lunges really benefits like ankle and hip mobility. And if you don't have that full range of motion, you can lift your leg up, come here, and if you even have that, you can lift your leg up, your foot up, you don't have that ankle mobility. So hit those same things and get you in a full range of motion the whole time.